Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. So today we're talking about Neptune going retrograde. And a little background on Neptune was discovered, I think, in 1830 something, 6. I can't remember right now. I guess my background information isn't that great. Okay, but anyway, what it represents in astrology is a little bit more to point today, and that is that we have, it represents, planets aren't doing anything to us, and the planets themselves represent parts of our personalities. That's how I see it. And we need to evolve our definitions so that we can become more and more empowered as we progress and transform. So Neptune, that said, Neptune is retrograde from July 2nd, 2024 to December 7th. And during this time, it's about you understanding how to get practical about your dreams and your ideal vision. So, excuse me, Neptune represents illusion, addiction, spirituality, also hardline religion, zealots. And it also has the, it's not imbued with, but we imbue it with, we give it that sense of idealism. Now, throughout the years, definitions change as we grow and change, and so do they in astrology, or they ought to. So Neptune represents and defines the energies of the 12th house in astrology, and it also guides Pisces. So when we look at the 12th house definitions, it has to do with mental and physical hospitals, any kind of incarceration, clandestine opportunities. Who wants to be a spy? And people who go behind the scenes to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. So pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's Neptune. And also horses. It used to represent large animals, so you could look at elephants or oxen, but mainly horses. And so that's the basic definition of Neptune. But when we apply it to who we are in our lives, so we could look at, okay, I have a dream. I want to do something. I want to create something. And if you've been thinking about this thing that you want to create and you keep thinking about it, but you don't actually create it, that's a dream, right? But to make the dream the reality, a lot of astrologers will say that when Neptune moves into stations retrograde, so from the perspective of the Earth, it looks like Neptune's moving backwards, when on the elliptic around the sun, the Earth is moving faster. So Neptune's back there in the race around the sun. So, but it's not moving backwards, really. But our perceptions are such that, I always wanted to play the piano. Always wanted to take that origami class, that herbal class, because Neptune also represents a form of medicine. It can be addictive type medicine. It can be natural medicine. It can be holistic medicine. It can be herbal treatments as well. So when you think about, you open up your pantry and you go, here's all my vitamins. Do I really need them? What's really working for me? How do I know? And so there's a process of elimination that happens during a Neptune retrograde, where you start to evaluate your dreams or the ideal vision of what you want to create and how to go about seeing it form in real time, in matter. So for the next, wait a minute, I got to count on my fingers, 6 months or so, July, August, September, October, November, December, 5 months. For the next 5 months, it's going, and okay, nothing ever stops or starts on a dime in the universe. Everything is overlapping, right? So next week, we're going to be talking about Saturn going retrograde during the same time period that Neptune's retrograde. So when this happens, and Saturn is in the sign of Pisces right now. So we've got Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces retrograde, formulating our thoughts, organizing our agenda, and really budgeting our time well, so that we don't just space out and do 30 minutes of Instagram or TikTok and go, oh yeah, I was supposed to write that proposal or get to those emails or call the insurance company. But what I want you to really focus on, and let me show you what it looks like. Okay. So what I want you to focus on as Neptune, which is, I have to move my cursor over here. Here's Neptune in this particular astrology program. Here's Neptune, and it is 29 degrees Pisces right now, and it's moving retrograde. I don't know why this doesn't indicate retrograde. And I made this for August 4th. But I want you to see the progression of Neptune. It doesn't, there should be a little red X in here. Anyway, it's a new program for me, Astro Gold. So I'm learning a new program. But anyway, this is retrograde, and then Saturn will be retrograde, both in the sign of Pisces. And so when we look at how we want to be seen, how we want to be proactive, how we would like to be, to represent something, an ideal vision. Hi, Sasha. Good morning. Happy to see you here today, too. When we do that, we have to really delve into what we believe and how we'd like to make something a reality. That's why we're here, folks. We're here because we wanted to make something real on the planet. We wanted to create a life. So if you look at your life and you say, oh yeah, I know someone, I don't know the person, who had a cancer diagnosis, and they rationalized their treatment with, it's okay, I can have sugar and alcohol. It's okay. And that type of thinking is not right or wrong, so we're not judging it. But if the illusion is, I'm going to try to make myself feel better no matter what, if you can create the reality without angst, judgment, defense, then you can create the reality and things will work out okay. My father used to say to me, who was a vegan, it's better to be a healthy carnivore than a depressed vegetarian. And he was a Pisces. So he knew about illusion. And so when you start to create something in your world that you say, I want to do this thing, but how am I going to get there? I've been dreaming about it. Wish fulfillment comes when you take action. My husband and I were having this conversation the other day, and, he's more about action orientation. And I said, well, first you have to create the idea, right? Get the inspiration. You're inspired, but inspired action is where we want to go. Because sitting and thinking about it at our level of awareness and consciousness is not going to manifest it. It will create some version of it. You will attract something to you. And it might be, you want to learn how to become an herbalist or something. So you have the herbs in your house and you read up on them and you make tinctures and you hand them out to your friends at Christmas. And so you've got some version of that. But what is your ideal? Is it to actually open up a shop, sell online, to help people heal certain specific types of ailments or illnesses? So it's about getting very focused on what is the motivation that you have, what limits you, because Neptune on the downside can represent cynicism. That's never going to happen. Yeah, they know more than I do. Why would they do that? Why would they call me? Why would they buy from me? There's so many other, so it's like defeatist attitude before. And that's part of the illusion, is that you're not powerful, is that you can't do it. So during the, Mercury, during the Neptune retrograde, it's an ideal time to really go into those places in your world that you said to yourself, I wish I could have a, and I don't mean, I wish I could have $1 million. Well, what are you doing to get it? You got to be doing something on this. Got to be doing something on this world. In this world, you have to create physical matter from the emotional connection to the inspiration. Your spirit inspires, your mind maps out the plan, and the body enacts. That's your holy trinity in astrology, according to me. So according to no one but me. So when we look at Neptune, what is it that you would like to bring to the forefront and not just think about it, wish about it, dream about it, and then go watch TV or go out with your friends and, have a dinner or something. So what is that thing? What do you want to create? During the time that Neptune is retrograde, it's going to be really interesting collectively for the world to examine their belief in religion. Neptune's also dealing with the divine understanding. And it's to every single person, it means something different. Even to people in the same sect or the same religion or the same cult or the same, industry, it's going to mean something different. So no two people are going to have the same, oh, I love that color purple. Me too. But for some people, it's magenta. Other people, it's lavender. Other people, it's deep, rich, royal purple. No two people will have the same idea. But when you start to attract people into your life in the next 5 months, I want you to pay attention. Who's coming back from the past? The retrograde represents stepping back into the past. Now it's in your thoughts. It's in old feelings. It's in, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person did that. And then they got the job and I didn't, and blah, blah, and whatever. So the victim's voice will come up in a lot of instances. Or, oh gosh, recently I just heard from a client that I had from 25 years ago. Now I'm going to look it up to see if Neptune was retrograde when I met her, but I don't remember the month or the date that I met her. But anyway, so we had a lovely chat. And then she validated things for me. So that was very interesting. So I want you to look at, if your past comes back, are you being validated? Like, I made the right decision. I made the correct, true decision for me to go in this place or for me to do that thing. And it was just well, not even a throwaway sentence, but it was like, hey, Elaine, way back when you said this thing and then that thing happened and now I am this thing. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, I hope you're happy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. So the validation that you can get from the past right now, even if the validation is you were so smart in walking away from that company or that person or that lure to get you into, you stopped gambling, you stopped drinking or smoking or whatever it was. And you weren't drawn into someone's fairy glamour world of, yeah, it's all going to work out, but yet no one's taking action. And the highest, best, most, I think, prolific action to take is to sit and meditate and commune with your higher self and your higher being and to open up the crown chakra and actually let that energy through. And then go about your business and then see what you start to manifest, because it is I would say there's a practice involved. Now, aesthetics, not aesthetics as in beauty, aesthetics, no, am I saying that wrong? Acolytes, we'll use that word. Acolytes or novices will begin a practice and say, I'm going to meditate every day for an hour and see, whatever, and learn how to sit without squirming in my seat. So I'm going to learn how to play piano and give it 30 minutes a day and see what happens at the end of 30 days. I'm going to start a new program where I cut down on sugar to less than 10 grams a day. Just doing that alone will change your entire chemistry. And remember, Neptune also represents the chemistry of the psyche. So if you are eating or ingesting or putting something on your body, makeup or a hair product or skin lotion, and it's got ingredients in it that can alter your hormones, and then you stop that, you'll go through a disruption phase where your body detoxes something. The great purge comes with Pluto in astrology, and here's Pluto right over here. And it's making a positive angle to Neptune right now for quite a while. So during this time, it's like, you want to purge something? You want to purge an old habit? Next 5 months, I'm with you. Yay. You can do it. You got this. How many times have we heard that? I have a friend in England. Her name is Mia, and I met her last year in Scotland. And she lives in London, I think. Anyway, so she was saying how she belongs to a film club, and film is a Pisces thing. Film, fashion, photography, illusion, magic. And she said in the film club, they pick a movie of the year that they were born. And so she chose the movie Babe. So I think for the next 5 months, if you have an idea or a feeling or a memory that brings you to a negative place, a cynical place, a defensive place, I just want you to say to yourself, that'll do, pig. That'll do. I'm quoting Babe. I'm not calling you a pig. Don't misunderstand me. And Babe was so cute. Okay. So, what questions do we have when Neptune goes retrograde? Well, yes, people will come back from the past that might represent film, fashion, photography. It might represent herbalism, religion, spirituality, yoga, meditation. My dad was a Pisces. He taught me yoga when I was 5. So and then I was talking to my cousin, and she said, "Here's an image of me, real quick, of me doing yoga on the beach." And I was like, "Yoga? Oh yeah, yoga. I wonder if I want to go back to it." So I'm going to ponder that and see, will it affect my body in a positive way? Yes, I've checked that box so many times, but I rotate through so many different forms of exercise. And so things come back around to ask you, are you done with me yet? Is this going to benefit? Any retrograde is a revisit, a reevaluation, a review, a renegotiation, a release, or a renewal. So make a list of the things, the dreams that you've had, and I give out movies as homework to my clients. So I want you to think about which movies have the most impact for you, are the most inspiring, are the ones that you may not have watched for years, and maybe they're dated with the music or the clothes or the, dialogue. But which movies over the years have really inspired you to take action on the thing that you love? That's the big question right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about organizing your dreams to make them a reality in 3D? We live in a 3D world, and we're ascending from 3D to 4D, a lot of people, and some people from 4D to 5D. And what do those dimensions mean? Hey, Christy, you're sweet too. Happy independence to everyone who lives in this country. And we wish independence for all people in all worlds, in all nationalities. Okay, I sound drunk. Hey, that's a Neptune thing. I don't drink alcohol. in all nationalities, all religions, all belief systems, that there might be peace within, which will eventually create the peace in the outside world. Let's go there. I just watched Beaches. You mean with the 2 gals? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this? The Wind Beneath My Wings? Yes, peace out. Okay, so go watch a movie that really inspires you. I mean, I go right to Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I mean, I've got, so after okay, I'm really going blank now. What is it with my mind these days? Okay. Oh my God, I can see Rachel McAdams. Hey, Dean, are you around? What's the name of that movie we love? And I watch it like every month. It's okay. It's a time-based movie. I love movies based on time or time travel. But anyway, yes, that movie. Blessings. Yes, you too. So go find a movie that really helps inspire you to take action on something, or at least to formulate the plan. It's like, oh, I tried that. It didn't work, but I still love gardening, or I still love the world of, I love the medical world. I know a lot of nurses who have left the medical world, or they've left the type of world that they were in and moved to a different part of healing and service with regard to medicine. So there is going to be a great shift. I mean, it's every day. But you need to be paying more and more attention to, when do you let it slide? When do you know? Oh, and if you're tired or you're physically exhausted in your mind, then you need rest. a confused emotional state cannot manifest clearly. Clearly, a confused emotional state cannot manifest consciously. So you want to be able to get to that place where you look at where is Neptune in your chart right now, not your natal Neptune, but your transiting Neptune, as if this were Neptune transiting around the chart. We love our angels in scrubs. Yes, we do. And I knew one who was in scrubs and said, no, I can't do that world anymore. And then went to hospice and then did that for a while and then went to a vegan center and was forced to become vegan. And she went, no, it's like, wait, what is the, and so that's another definition of Neptune. And that is idealism can turn into zealot behavior. Like this is the way, it's the only way. And if you are not a vegan and you're eating meat, you are causing harm. And it's like, okay, just by wanting to not eat meat, okay, that's a personal choice. But then to declare to others that they are wrong, that's offensive. So we want to look within and say, let me clear the judgment, always, ever, whether anything is retrograde or not. If your brain is retrograde, you go find the judgment within. So as soon as you start to have a thought in your head that brings you back to a time where you were judged or you were judging, and you get in that role and it's like, and I said that and they said that, I want you to interrupt yourself, like, screech to a halt, like a cartoon going from black and white to color, and go, do I really want to be thinking that right now? What else can I think right now? Let me put on some music. Let me think about that scene in that movie that I just love. Let me create a little mantra for myself. I am love. I love that I am love. Whatever it is that helps you to come back to present tense, because the illusion takes you on a sentence that doesn't have a period at the end of it. It just goes here and then it goes there and then it goes there. And you start off, as my husband would say, you start off telling a story and then you go off to grandma's house. And you don't make a point. What's the point? I don't know. It was like the tale that never ended. And in between there were judgments and there was defense and there was victim voice. Neptune is famous for victim voice. Neptune, Saturn, and parts of the sun representing Leo. The victim voice is really the part of you that says, I didn't know how to speak up for myself or defend myself against something. Even my own thoughts, my own dark thoughts will create something. And then that Gollum conversation happens. It's like, Master's my friend. No, he's tricksy. So it's like that back and forth you go between head and heart. And so then just ask yourself, cut it short, ask yourself, what would I like to be thinking right now instead? What could I be thinking instead? I used to say to people and clients all the time, what's the worst that could happen? And keep going till the worst that could happen was I get sick and I die. I'm in a box on the street and nobody cares for me. And then I die. And then they look at me expectant, like, okay, what was I supposed to get from that? And then I ask them, then what happens? And they're like, oh, well, and it's amazing how many people stumble over that one. And then what happens? And then they give me their belief system, even if they don't have one. And then I say, and then what happens? And then what happens? So I want you to go down that little rabbit hole of, and then what can happen? What can happen? What's the best that can happen? What's the worst that could happen? Why am I dithering over, it's fear, always, ever fear that stops us. But sometimes a delay equals protection. But are you present enough to know the difference? That's where I'd like you to go. Meditate. Get online and find some, I would call Joe Dispenza coherence meditation, because there's an actual practice involved. That's a very ancient practice. The pineal gland, if you look at the Egyptian symbol of the eye, the eye of Horus, it's actually what the pineal gland looks like. So the Egyptians, thousands of years ago, already knew what was happening and how to activate energy by looking at how to inhale, tighten your perineum, clenching. And then when you do, your tailbone arcs and it releases the cerebral a spinal fluid. And each time you inhale and breathe, it brings that fluid up to the pineal gland. Activation. You are now connected to your higher inner self. You forget eventually that you didn't take the garbage out because it's not really relevant to creating and manifesting from the spiritual realm. That's the place to go, ideally. I mean, you can make something happen by working at it. But if you don't change the ideology behind the work or behind the strategy, it takes a long time, if ever, and it doesn't work sometimes. So in order to get your dreams going in a regular direction and a flow that you want to have, produce results, it's important that you check yourself when you feel cynical, defensive, negative, woe is me, victim, and then ask yourself, what else could I be thinking right now? How about something present tense positive? I love that I am love. I could cry. I'm so happy. I love my pillow. I love the breeze on my face when it's warm. I love that I have air conditioning when it's hot. I love Christmas lights because I can feel it in my heart. So whatever, keep it simple. And people say, well, that's not a real strategy. Yes, it is. Because that strategy takes you out of the industrial age idea of you put in your 40 hours, you work it. Now, I'm not saying don't. What I'm saying is don't go to extremes. It's not about doing nothing, and it's not about doing everything. It's finding your harmony in the place so that you create a little bridge to your dream and it starts to come to you. So we meditate a little bit, and in a moment of that cynicism or doubt or that woe is me, we stop and ask ourselves, what would I like to be thinking right now? And then look out the window. Look at something like I look at my little coo from Scotland that I got last year. I mean, he's just the cutest little thing. I can't feel sad looking at this. I don't feel defensive looking at this. And then my kid, Aaliyah, who's now 25, but when they were 8, made a whole bunch of little artwork on cotton balls I had a salon, a group of women came that I could work with nearby, came from around the country, and we worked together. And then Aaliyah made these little faces for everybody on cotton balls. And I kept 2 of them. These 2 were made for me. This one, it just cracks me up. All right. They were 8. They're an artist. Okay. They made this for me. I look at this face and I just cannot stop laughing. And then of course, because I'm a Taurus and my kid learned early on about astrology, they made me this. So this is my stunned face. Like, did that just happen? Did I just make that? Did they just call? So I want you to be able to have a moment in the next 5 months, at least 1,000 a day, where you say, yeah, I got this. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm in the flow of spirituality because I am spirit who chose to be in a body to see what it's like to create from a physical form where there are rules of gravity and biology to deal with. That's where the science part of Neptune comes in. So we could take the spiritual part and the science part and bring it together and say, I'm going to go shopping. And when I look and I just like gaze at it or put my hand over, vegetables in the aisle, and I go, yeah, I don't want cucumber. My body doesn't want cucumbers right now. Or yes, my body wants cauliflower right now. And you may not know the reason why, but you eat it and you feel so satisfied. That's where we're going. Go to a place where you have a thought, an intuitive feeling or impulse that takes you to a very satisfied place. And I'm sure that after we talk about Saturn in Pisces going retrograde, and Pisces is guided by Neptune, and here's Saturn, both in Pisces. And so it's like a crisscross thing here. We're like, here's all the illusion, here's the doubt, here's the fears, here's the addictions. And then here's this part that says, oh, honey, Saturn says, I got it all covered. You think you feel like a victim? I am the queen. I know how to get out of the pit. of despair. So in that retrograde phase is what it represents. It's like, oh, I have an idea. I want to go do this thing. I wanted to do it 10 years ago, but I couldn't. I had to raise some kids. I had to finish college. I had to work, 2 jobs, whatever. And then you stop and say, but I am creating my reality. Who created the system where you have to go to kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, up to 8th grade, then high school, then college, then master's degree, then a job that you sit in a chair for 25 years? That's falling apart. That is no longer. So find something that makes you happy, even if other people in your world are saying, I don't know that you can make a living setting up kiosks for makeup at a store. Don't you want to go to school, get a degree? My degree is in humanity. My degree is in self-awareness. So when I can get to that place of saying, yeah, I love what I did today. I was so happy today. I researched my next book. I just gave my 3rd book to my editor. She read it and she said, I love it. Better, even better than the first 2. I'll send you my report and my critique in a week. And I'm like, So as I evolve and I learn how to do something better and hone my craft as a writer of historical fiction fantasy, and also learn more about astrology and how I can teach others that the planets aren't ruling you. And I used to believe that they did. I evolve, therefore my end product or result evolves. And that is who I am in the world. So I want you to have that same kind of inspiration to go out and do, and it doesn't have to be lofty. It could be, I wanted to redo the bathroom. I saved up money. I saw these things and I want to do this print, but nobody does it. So I'm gonna have to do it myself. Yeah, do it yourself. So then when you paint the wall and you've got different modeling or templates or whatever, and because every time you go in there and you wash your face, you're going to go, wow, I love this room. Or the bedroom or the kitchen, or clean out the garage or whatever. Paint your garage floor. I mean, if you live in an apartment building, you can fix it up. You can spruce it up. You can add plants or whatever it is. But the inspiration that comes from, I am a magical being. You are a celestial, eternal, sentient being. You are magical. And using scientific methods, using your own know-how, willpower, and I'm going to backtrack. I'm not going to say willpower, your own internal inspiration, you can make something happen. Even if you just begin it, you don't have to start to finish done. I have 9 more books to write in my series. I better get cracking. That's what I used to say. I better get cracking. No, I think, no, it's going to come naturally as long as I'm focused on it. Now, so the first book took me 10 years to write. Second book took me 5 years to write. This last book took me 9 months to write. 9 months. Because I'm getting down I see where I can go. I see what inspires me. I see how to do research. And with the advent of AI, I am doing better, faster research. Once I set it up I have to prompt it so that it gets me what I need. And then I double check because it can make mistakes. But my research took a lot less time. And so when you're looking at how to do something, you can look at someone who's already done something similar or something unusual or something in the same vein or industry, and maybe find out, do they have a podcast? Do they have a YouTube channel? Can you contact them by email and just say a couple of tips? I'm happy to pay you for your time. We don't pick brains for a cup of coffee. No, I'm happy to pay you for your time. But I'm looking for some support in how to move forward. And I don't know how to do this. So there are people in the world who have something that you need. You can collaborate. And during this retrograde period, once you get clear on what it is you want to do, you can manifest it very quickly. Isn't that exciting? I think so. All right. So I'm going to come back next week and we're going to talk about Saturn in Pisces retrograde, and what we can do because it overlaps the Neptune retrograde. And remember, folks, you are empowered. You're the one with the choice and the wherewithal to use your divine inspiration to go make something happen. or go rest your body if that's what it needs. As always, I wish you peace, and I'll see you next time.